What is up, headhunters and executive recruiters? So normally I post these videos in the headhunter and executive recruiter community on Facebook, hashtag the Herc, for those of you who are in the group. But I wanted to post this out to you folks on LinkedIn, or the LinkedIn land as well, because I want to ask, and this is a very controversial question. In fact, I posted this in our Facebook group, which, by the way, if you haven't joined, I'll post a link down below in the comments. We're close to 5,000 members now. It's a great group. But the question I posed is simply this. Do you, as recruiters, call the company that you pulled a candidate out of after they've resigned and after their notice period? You see, I posed this question in the group. In fact, I'm writing an article about this that's going to be coming out here in the next week or so. Now, let me clarify a few things, because it did cause some confusion in the group. So I wanted to clarify exactly what I mean. You see, with the vast majority of recruiters, by the way, this would not apply to. See, the dirty little secret in our business is when a recruiter gets a job, a contingency recruiter, they'll take that job posting from their client. They'll redact the client name, maybe change a few words here and there. That way it's not quite so obvious who the client is, although they really don't do much work with it. They take that job description and they post it on the job boards, oftentimes the same job boards that their client is on. And then if that client uses 4 or 5 recruiters, because they're under the erroneous assumption that giving a job board to 5 recruiters gets 5 times the coverage, which is not true. Every recruiter doesn't work with a different candidate pool. It doesn't work like that, okay? But anyway, when that happens, each agency posts the position on the same job boards. So that's why oftentimes you'll see 4, 5, 6, 7 positions, all postings from a single position, and it's all just different firms posting. And they're betting on information asymmetry, having a candidate apply to their job before they apply to the client's job. And then they try to call as fast as they can and tag that candidate before another recruiter does, because the HR timestamp issue, okay? Now, unfortunately, because the client gives out the job to so many recruiters, every recruiter knows there's very little chance of them actually filling the role, maybe 10 to 20% at best. So they don't do a lot of work and actually deep dive on the position, okay? So, but for those of recruiters out there that work exclusively with clients or on a retained or engaged basis, where you do now have the resources to cover the entire market, who now you can map every single last potential candidate that may potentially fit the profile for your client. And then knowing that the top performers don't peruse the job boards looking for cookie cutter job descriptions to apply for, because they're heads down, hitting their deliverables, hitting their bonus, they're kicking ass and taking names. And their employers want to keep them, so they treat them well, so they don't have to be on the market. And so for us skilled practitioners, in mapping the entire market, we can identify those true top performers and go there and coax them away from their current employers. So for those recruiters, I have a question for you. Considering that our ability to go and recruit that talent, that the vast majority of recruiters don't have the time, the resources, or the ability to go after because they're busy reposting job descriptions on job sites, email blasting their list, right? Looking for some easy placements because they're competing with a bunch of other firms, so they're not really putting a lot of skin into the game. But for those of you who really go in and go deep, our biggest selling point is our ability to do that. So when you pull a top performer, let's say in my case, might be a top performing SAP manager who has true career momentum, promotion to promotion to promotion. They're taking over trouble projects, and they're planning and executing simultaneously, bringing together diverse groups. They're just kicking ass, right? So let's say I go find that person, I attract their interest with a video, a recruiting video, or it might be a call or an email or a text message or smoke signals. Like we go to great lengths to attract candidates. And then you attract them. Coax them into a 5-minute conversation. Talk to them about your client, how amazing it is to work there. The employer value proposition, that is a no-brainer, and you get them interested. And then they write up a resume, and they haven't even updated the resume in 2 years, and they update it for you. And then you talk, and then they talk to their spouse. Is this a good move? And you talk money, and all the skillful things a recruiter does to get them to your client, and they take the job. Then the fateful day comes when they resign from their current employer that you coax them away from, that have been treating them well. They give the resignation, and then they work through their 2 or 3 week notice period. When that happens, my question to you is this: do you then, or will you then, go and call that ex-boss who just, in essence, received their divorce papers from their top performer? Do you call them? Introduce yourself as the recruiter that pulled their star performer? Why or why not? Feel free to comment down below. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. I do, and I'm not ashamed of it. You see, my thoughts are simply this, and of course you may feel free to disagree, which is fine. But the way I look at it is this. This is our calling card. This is what we do. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Some recruiters I found, and this is some of the discussion we've had in our Facebook group, that posed this question. Some recruiters think it would ruin their reputation. Some recruiters think it would piss off. And obviously you have to handle things with kid gloves. But at the same time, if I'm going out telling my prospects, clients I want to do business with, that I recruit top people, it'd be disingenuous for me to have them assume that I don't recruit from them, even though they're not a client, right? When I talk to a prospect, when I talk to an SAP manager or a director or VP, I already know every single person in their organization. I may have already reached out to them in the past, or I plan to in the future. It's just what we do. It's my duty to the clients that pay me to go out and recruit the very top talent, and not just hope and pray and post a job and hope and pray that a decent performer that matches the keywords applies. What most recruiters do. We charge a premium price. We have a premium service, right? That's what we do. So if that's our calling card, if that's what we do, that's what we do very, very well, then why hide it? I'd rather prefer radical honesty. Now, granted, you have to handle this with kid gloves, as I said, and do it the right way. You don't go in and be a prick about it. But I want to let them know that, hey, I would love to potentially work with you in the future. We may not be a fit together. I don't work with every client. I'm sure you don't work with every recruiter. But I want you to know that this is how we operate. We can go to your competitors and recruit their very top talent if your opportunity is good enough, okay? And that's proof positive of this, because most recruiters say they do that, yet they do not. Actually, I was the recruiter that worked with Steve. Steve's a great candidate. He actually spoke very, very highly of you and said that you actually would be a great client of mine in the future. So I thought I'd reach out and introduce myself. All right? Simple as that. And I find that being radically honest like that actually garners you a lot of respect. You see, for years, I didn't do that because I thought, I believe the stories in my head that I'd piss people off. But at the end of the day, the only harm it does is if you believe what you're doing is unethical. Because we're not, as some recruiters say, we're poaching people. We're headhunting. We're pulling. We're not really doing that. All we're simply doing is presenting opportunities skillfully. All right? We don't steal people. So anyway, we'd love to get your thoughts on it. Post down below. Give me your thoughts. Or I'm also going to post a link for the Facebook group, the Headhunter and Executive Recruiter Community, #TheHerc, down there as well. Feel free to join in the discussion. We've got about 5,000 recruiters in there, all posting questions, all giving answers, helping each other out. And we'll love to have you in there as well. But again, answer the question down below. Do you call your candidates ex-bosses? Why or why not? We'd love to hear from you. Thanks, guys.